Alright, this is a Facebook ad webinar by Floren. If you want to dial in and access this via the phone, dial 949-229-4400. This will allow you to do live interaction with me at the end of the call where we can actually hear each other speak. The access code is 35097#. So that's 949-229-4400 and 35097#. So first off, I want to thank you for investing in my Facebook advertising training, and I also want to thank you for taking time out of your day and your busy schedule to attend this bonus live webinar. I think you're going to find some additional information. I looked at some notes that I was getting from customers, some questions I was getting from people, and I've incorporated that training into this call. I've also opened things up so you can see a handful of campaigns that I've run, so you get some ideas of things to try. So in tonight's call, you're really going to learn about more of the targeting, because that's a crucial element about Facebook advertising, and you're going to learn about some of the campaigns that I've run that will give you an idea of some success that you can have on Facebook. I didn't choose any campaigns that were like ridiculous, super high return on investment. I've specifically picked things that I thought were a little more newbie achievable, and things that I thought I didn't have like a super distinct advantage on. With having like my own email list or my customer list or anything like that. I wanted to focus on campaigns that I thought the average person would be able to duplicate a lot easier. So with that, we'll get started. So first off, a crucial element about Facebook, you really need to know your audience. And in tonight's call, we're going to talk a lot about interests and audience and knowing exactly your ideal customer. Also in the training, we talked about attention-grabbing text and images. So if you went through the existing training, we talked about using like red arrows and using pictures of like a person looking at the screen, looking right at the camera. We talked about putting like a red border around images. We talked about different things like that. We talked about using bullet points and headlines, email subject lines as the text to grab attention and get people to click. Now bear in mind that Facebook is primarily a social platform. People are on here looking at cat and dog pictures and looking at pictures of people's newborn babies and communicating with people that they know from school or work. So what you really want to do is you want to get people's email address, and this allows you to follow up with them again and again versus trying to just make a one-time sale. It's a lot easier to make money once you get people on an email list. This is an asset that you control. You have a lot more potential, a lot more ways of making money, and it's a lot easier to get a return on your investment. I also advise you to do retargeting. This is a great feature. Now, if you don't remember what retargeting is, basically it allows you to put a little tracking code on your website. It doesn't change the look or feel of your website at all, but when someone lands on your web page or lands on a specific part of your website, they will get tracked on Facebook, and you can have specific advertising show up. So let's say, for instance, someone goes to your website and maybe you have a product for sale and they don't purchase. Well, you can show them ads for the product that they didn't buy, and that'll convince more people to purchase from you, and you'll make a lot more sales that way. This is some of the best advertising I've ever done. It's a super high return on investment. It's just ridiculous how profitable retargeting is. So how do you target on Facebook? Well, most people, when they do targeting on Facebook, they're going to look for the real easy interest. So they're going to pick internet marketing, or they're going to pick some big guru like Frank Kern or Ryan Deiss or Russell Brunson or Mike Filsaime or someone like that. And that works. I mean, I do that all the time. It works, but you're going to have expensive ads because that's what everyone does. That's the easy way of targeting. Now, I do ads like that, but there is a cheaper way of doing it, and I'm going to share with you how to do that. So what I want you to do is, after this webinar, I want you to do a search on Facebook. In the search box, you're going to enter people or pages liked by people who like whatever the fan page is. So, for example, I did pages liked by people who like Warrior Plus. So Warrior Plus, which is a payment processor for internet marketing products, has their own fan page, and it's got maybe 1,000 or 2,000, I think about 2,000 people who like it. Now, the search results showed me different pages that people liked. So people who like Warrior Plus tend to like Muncheye and JV Zoo and Kenster and Frank Kern and Warrior Live Networking Event, Ryan Deiss, and a whole bunch of other things. This went on for several pages, and so you could like each of these things if you wanted. You could go to each of these Facebook fan pages and you can target these things. A lot of these ones you can target, like Frank Kern you can target for sure, and Ryan Dice you can target for sure. I know there's some others a little bit further down on this page that you could target that I've targeted before. So what do you do after that? Well, I recommend you get a spreadsheet, so like Excel or Google Docs or whatever you use, and you write down the fan page name. So you'd write down Munch Eye and JV Zoo Affiliate Network and Warrior Plus and Frank Kern and Ryan Dice and Kenster, and I don't know if there were any other ones listed on that screenshot, but you list all those down. You might want to grab the URLs, so the actual link to the page, because you might want to go back there and you might want to like the page to do some very nice competitive analysis of your own, see what kind of ads they run, those types of things. It would be a good idea. I highly recommend that you sign up and like your competitors' pages, because you're going to learn a lot that way. It's also like getting on an email list of your competitors. You're going to learn a lot of things that they're doing, offers they're running, specials they're doing, how they communicate with your list. You're going to learn a lot that way. It's a great marketing education. Then if you really want to dig deep, so let's say you go in there, you write down maybe there's 30 pages that are similar to Warrior Plus. Well, you go through each of those pages, and one at a time you go, okay, pages liked by people who like JVSU Affiliate Network, and you write down all those people or all those pages. Then you do pages liked by people who like Munch Eye, pages liked by people who like Frank Kern, pages liked by people who like Ryan Dice, and so on and so on. And you can do that for every page. You can go down even further, and you might have a compilation of hundreds or thousands, maybe probably more like hundreds of interests. And this is going to let you target people that aren't getting targeted as easily on Facebook. It's going to let you have cheaper ads. This is deemed as tedious, labor-intensive stuff. It's not like digging a ditch or anything, but it's not super exciting. So if you're going to do this, either have something in the background, like a movie playing on another screen, or your TV running, or you outsource this to someone. This is a low labor-intensive task. Anyone with a Facebook account can do this. They don't need access to your Facebook account. This is pretty easy stuff to do. So personally, I would just outsource this to someone. You can find people online that would do this kind of task for a couple dollars an hour, and they could find this data for you, and you only have to have them do this once for whatever niche you want to be in. So if you want to be in internet marketing, have them do it for internet marketing related stuff. If you want to get into the stock niche, do it for stock market related stuff. If you want to be in the weight loss niche, do it for weight loss niche related things. You don't have to do this for every single ad campaign. You do this once for whatever broad niche you're in, and you can learn a lot this way. So here's me doing it again. I did it for pages liked by people who like Munch Eye, and so this showed Frank Kern and Ben Adkins and Don Wilson and Kenster and Michael Cheney and Mike from Maine. So you can see there's a couple duplicates in here, but this is how you really further expand, and you can find more interests that you can advertise on this way. And this is something that 99% of marketers don't do on Facebook, and this really allows you to get a lot cheaper ads. It allows you to find some kind of diamonds in the rough for having a higher return on investment. So then what do? Well, you would enter those interests into your ads. So you do your ad targeting, and you, in the interest section, you enter in those ads or the names of those fan pages. So if Facebook doesn't automatically find that interest, that's okay. You just skip it and go to the next one. And that's how you're going to find things that your competition isn't using when you do this. So Facebook will make suggestions. So here I entered in a couple of them. I put Frank Kern and Ryan Dice and Trey Smith into the interest section of creating an ad. Okay. Now Facebook is also going to suggest different things. So we got Eben Pagan and Mike Filsame and Onyx Singal and Ed Dale and Jonathan Budd and Joel Comm and Amy Porterfield. And I mean, this went on and on and on and on. I mean, you can get really specific in here and really have some really nice targeted ads this way. So bear that in mind. That's a really useful way to really expand a campaign, if you will. There's another feature in Facebook called Audience Insights, and we did talk about this a little bit in the previous training. This is a free tool right inside your Facebook ads account. It gives you a ton of demographic information on custom audiences. So this could be audiences of like email addresses you've uploaded, or website custom audiences that you're doing, any sort of retargeting you're doing, or it could be your own fan pages or competitor fan pages. You can learn a ton of information from this. This is a tool that people would have spent a fortune on a couple years ago. I mean, this would have been data that would have cost thousands upon thousands of dollars to achieve, and you can get this right in Facebook, and it doesn't cost you anything. I just think it's incredible that they give you this. So this will improve your targeting, you'll spend less money, and you'll have a better return on your investment. So in the Facebook Audience Insights, and this is, you go into your ad account, you click on Audience Insights, it's on the left hand side of the screen. It's going to give you a page like this where you enter in the different interests. So I entered in Frank Kern and Ryan Deiss, just because I know those are two really popular marketers, and I just chose people in the United States. So this gave us 250 to 300,000 active users each month who go on Facebook and like those pages, and they live in the United States. And so it's a pretty even split of men and women who like this page. Most of them are in the 35 to 54 year old range. At least the women. Some of the men are a little younger and a little older, but most of the women are in that age range that are interested in internet marketing, or at least interested in Frank Kern and Ryan Deiss. Now it'll give you some lifestyle stuff. So you're going to see some of them live in urban areas. Some of them are solo people, a lot of city people, some singles. A lot of metropolitan type people, career centered people, hard chargers, dynamic duos. So those are probably, I'm assuming that's probably people that live together but aren't married. Single parents that are financially stable, it looks like. Kids in clout, so some people that maybe have kids but they're really powerful in their community too. So if you click on each of those, it gives you more information on that. But these are the kind of unique things that Facebook has found about their kind of their lifestyle. So it'll talk about like their purchase behavior and their brand affinities, and just different things that make them kind of unique compared to the rest of the country or the rest of the people who use Facebook. Now, relationship and education. Apparently 35% of them are single, 12% are in a relationship, 3% are engaged, 50% are married. Highest level of education, 16% said high school, 71% said college, which I think this might be a little skewed, because I know there's a lot of marketers online that say they went to like the University of Hard Knocks, which I know I've put on there as well. I've never gone to college or university, and I know a lot of other people that did marketing, that have done internet marketing as well, and they didn't go to school. So I think this is slightly skewed. Grad school is 13%. That might be true. I've known a lot of people that are into internet marketing that are doctors and lawyers and professors and things like that. So I think that's probably fairly accurate. Job title, it really breaks this down. You notice a lot of them are management and sales. A fair amount are in IT, arts, a lot of veterans. So oftentimes you'll see a lot of like there's veterans in military. Oftentimes on a lot of sales letters, you'll see people talking about various military things that they've done. There's a reason for that. I mean, obviously that will create. There's going to be people that are veterans or in the military that are going to be attracted to that person because of that, because there's going to be something in common. There's also going to be people who have a lot of respect for military veterans, and so that's going to attract them for sales. So keep that in mind when you see that on sales pages. Sometimes, I'm not saying everyone who does it, but oftentimes you're being manipulated a little bit, just because it usually increases response for those types of things. I've found it for other things that you might see people talking about other major interests. Some people really talk about religion, or some people really talk about sports type things that they're interested in. Maybe they were like a college athlete or something like that, and they'll talk about those things, and that'll resonate with an audience in a certain way, and that'll get more people to know, like, and trust them. So I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing or anything that people do that, but bear that in mind. I mean, there's a reason why people put that in their sales copy. It humanizes them and it makes them more interesting to you, and it makes people take action. So something to bear in mind, just a little bit of marketing psychology to share with you today. It'll talk about some of the other pages they like. This is another great way to find some other pages. So this goes down like 20 or 30 categories that it'll go through, and it'll talk about different software they like and different consulting and business services these people tend to be fans of, different products they use, different software, some related business people, like some nonprofit groups that they like, um, organizations, some websites they like, some other public figures they tend to like, blogs they tend to follow, like book authors that they tend to be interested in. So this gives you a lot of very valuable information where you can find out a lot more and find some more, really expand your reach. If you find some interests that are converting really well, you can get a lot more detailed with this information. It'll also show some more pages and why. So for instance, a ton of people who like Frank Kern and Ryan Deiss let's see, so like 30.7 times of the population like Amy Porterfield. So people are 30 times more likely to like Amy Porterfield if they like Frank Kern or Ryan Deiss. So that's kind of how that breaks down. They're 13 times more likely to like Tony Robbins. Almost 15 times more likely to like Robert Kiyosaki. So it kind of tells you some of the people that these people tend to like. Brian Tracy's really popular. Jack Canfield, Network Marketing Pro. I think that's a blog, maybe a blog or a magazine. I can't remember. Success Magazine. Obviously, a lot of them like Frank Kern. I'm not quite sure why it did that. Maybe because I had Ryan Deiss in there as well. So it might have been basing people who like Ryan Deiss tend to like Frank Kern, and they do a lot of stuff together, so that makes sense. Top cities, at least in the United States. Atlanta is really popular. San Diego, Detroit surprised me. Fort Lauderdale is on here. Scottsdale. So this is the percentage of people who like those fan pages where they live. At least the ones that live in the United States. So I thought that was pretty interesting. This will share like the different activities they do. So in the past like 30 days, the average person who liked this page has clicked on 32 ads. They've shared 12 posts. They've liked 35 posts. They've commented 31 times on different things. 81% have logged in with their desktop and mobile. 29% have logged in just on their computer. 13% on their iPhone or iPod. 6% on their iPad, 18% on their Android, 0.1% on BlackBerry, so that's kind of dying. 24% on mobile web, 2% on feature phone, 7% unknown. So I guess just 5% have logged on just solely from their computer. And excuse me here, and 14% have logged on just from like a cell phone or an iPad or some sort of mobile device. So it's kind of interesting. If you're just doing ads to just mobile or just doing ads to just desktop computer users, you're missing out on a lot. Now you need to have a website that's mobile responsive if you're going to be running ads that encompass people on all these other platforms, and you want to test them out and make sure. So don't, for instance, if you're going to be sending people to a website and it has like Flash on it, that's something that's not going to work on like iPads and iPods and iPhones and things like that. So just keep that in mind. You're going to want to have a page that resizes correctly and looks nice on a smaller screen and is responsive to when people touch it with their touch screen device. Household data, so this talks about like the average annual incomes that people are making. There's some people that make quite a bit here. fairly evenly split on renter and owners. The household size here is kind of interesting. 33% of them are just people who live by themselves. 25% are like a family of two, so it might be two people cohabitating, or it might be a couple that's married, or maybe a single parent with one child. 19% probably have a child. 13% come from a family of four. 8% family of five. 8% for a family of six. So we have a handful that have decent sized families, but a pretty good chunk here where it's one or two people. Talks about some of their spending, the kind of money they're spending online. So they tend to buy business purchases online. They tend to subscribe to stuff online. They might buy some food and drink. I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever purchased any food or drink online, but I know there's people that have. I have a grocery store in my town that does it too, but you can order groceries and have them sent to your door, and I know you can order groceries on Amazon as well. So I guess some people buy groceries that way, or more than you'd think. Clothing is quite popular. Pet products, sports and outdoors are all popular things. Now I'm going to talk about a free tool. It's called Audience Intersect, and this is created by Teespring. Now you need to have a Teespring account. Teespring is that company that lets you create t-shirts, and oftentimes you'll see t-shirts for sale on Facebook. They've created a really cool tool which basically, let's say you have two different interests, you can combine those interests. So for example, Luke Bryan is a country singer and he has a song that mentions something about whiskey. Well, you could target people who like Luke Bryan and whiskey and have an ad running to those people. You could target people who like beer and baseball, so people that like both those things. People that like weight loss and CrossFit. I mean, these are going to be the people that are really dedicated to a topic, or even people who like maybe Second Amendment rights and hunting. So these are going to be your most passionate people about a topic. So this lets you really target untapped audiences. You can cater to new niche markets that were previously not possible to reach with the Facebook ad platform. It's a free tool. I've used it a little bit. It seems really, really awesome to me. I'm just going to walk you through it a bit here. I think this is a great thing. I think this is something that could make the difference between an unprofitable ad and a profitable ad, or a ad that's breaking even and an ad that makes a ton of money. So it's audienceintersect.com. You need to have an account with Teespring in order to use this. You also can only do this in the Google Chrome web browser. So here's some screenshots from their website. So they did a suggestion for targeting people for an internet marketing product. Well, you could do people who like Frank Kern and Ryan Deiss, and they would like both of them. So it's kind of a Venn diagram here, and maybe you'd have 5,000 people to target in your audience, versus having a huge audience that you'd be targeting. So that's really awesome. I mean, that alone can make just wonders for you. Here's like a Second Amendment t-shirt example they gave. Do an intersect of, so maybe there's 13 million people who like Duck Dynasty, maybe 9 million people who like the Tea Party, maybe 5 million people who like gun rights, but you find the 1 million people who like all three of those things, and they're probably going to go for that Second Amendment t-shirt that you have to sell, or maybe you have some sort of Second Amendment website or blog or fan page you're trying to build. You're going to get people that are really passionate about that by using this Audience Intersect tool. Teaching. So maybe you're targeting math teachers and science teachers and people who are teachers in general, and maybe instead of millions of people that you'd be targeting, you're going to target maybe 100,000 people that are going to be really passionate about teaching, and they're probably teachers of math and science, for example, and they're going to be interested in probably kind of a nerdy t-shirt. My girlfriend's a math teacher, and she shows me a lot of Teespring shirts that are kind of nerdy that she's into. So that's definitely a niche that's willing to buy those types of things. So pit bulls. So you could target women who like pit bulls. So women who are fans of I Love Pit Bulls and fans of pit bull lovers, and they're fans of both of these pages, and instead of intersecting with 1.6 million people, it's going to be an intersection of 36,000 people. So these are going to be your hardcore, your diehard fans of pit bulls that are women. Nursing. Look for women who, or nurses, doesn't have to be women. Look for, nurses, and look for Rottweilers, or people who like Rottweilers. And instead of an audience of maybe 20 million people, it's going to be an audience of 340,000. And so this lets you do much more targeted campaigns to very specific demographics. So here's that Luke, Bryan, and Whiskey. So Luke and Whiskey Make Me Frisky was their t-shirt example that they gave. So 8.3 million people like Luke Bryan and 6.6 million like Whiskey, but you intersect them and it's only 1 million people. And so it makes it a lot easier for you to have a profit on that campaign. So here's an example of doing it. They chose, they did a potential audience of 220,000 people. You enter in a couple interests, so they picked a couple, like a song of Luke Bryan's and a couple, I think, concert tours that he's done, and some other interests like some whiskeys and specific brands like Jack Daniels and just bourbon and things like that. And so they enter those things in, and they click save, and instead of it being maybe millions of people that you're targeting, you're just targeting 220,000 people who are really specific diehard fans, because anyone who's going to say that they like certain concert tours, they're going to be a bigger fan than just saying someone likes Luke Bryan. If they like a specific song or they like a specific concert tour, that's someone who's much more interested. If someone says they like a specific brand of whiskey, that's someone that's going to be much more into whiskey than just someone who says they like whiskey. And you combine the two, you're going to have some really diehard people that you could sell some pretty cool stuff to. So let's start off with some easy campaigns. We're going to actually dive into my Facebook account here and just go through some simple campaigns. So I was an affiliate for a product called PinFabulous. It's a Pinterest tool. And here's my ad example. So I had an ad, laugh in Google's face, thin affiliate link loaded sites that rake in affiliate commissions. And I think this was a bullet point on the sales page. I just copied and pasted. Google hates this, ... That was the subject line of an email, I believe, for this product. I just grabbed a screenshot of, like, I think this was a picture that was on the sales page. I just grabbed a screenshot of it. It had this red arrow in it already. I just wanted to have an example of an ad with a red arrow in case anyone didn't know. And I've added this red border around it. Basically, I used a tool called Jing, Jing.com, www.jing.com. It's a free kind of screenshot and screen sharing tool. Lets you share your screen. You can make 5-minute or less video recordings, and you can take screenshots. It lets you do simple little annotations to your screenshots. So I just added a little red bar at the bottom and top, and it took me just a few seconds to create this image. And here was an image that got a pretty good click-through rate. People were liking it and stuff like that. And so my targeting, you might want to take a screenshot of this page yourself. It'll give you some ideas of some of the targeting that's worked well for me. I targeted 460,000 people living in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United States who were 35 and above, just on the right column. And they liked various internet marketers like Jason Moffat and Joel Comm and Matt Basic and Shoe Money and Ryan Dice and Ed Dale and Stephen Pierce and Frank Kern and Onyx and Gall and John Chow and GetResponse, and I think AWeber's in there somewhere, and there's just a bunch of different things that I chose as potential things. So I did a right column ad, 35 and up. So we had 128 clicks, 24 cents per click is what we spent. 26,000 people saw the ads. They saw them about 4.5 times on average. 0.107% click-through rate. So we spent $31 on this, and we made $52.80 in commissions. So I spent $31 and I brought in almost $53. So that's a profit of $21.68. I targeted practically everyone who's interested in internet marketing over the age of 35 who lives in the top countries. So US, UK, Canada, and Australia make up the bulk of my sales. There's some other countries that do well. South Africa, New Zealand, Ireland, other parts of Europe tend to do fairly well. Pretty much countries that tend to speak English seem to do well. Singapore can do well with an ad in the internet marketing niche, but really the bulk of my ads are US, UK, Canada, and Australia. WebinarJam. Now, one of the ways that I promoted WebinarJam was with Facebook ads. This is a product by Mike Filsaime and Andy Jenkins. So I targeted people that like Mike Filsaime and Andy Jenkins who are over the age of 35 and lived in the US, Canada, UK, or Australia. And so I got over 200 clicks. We reached 30,000 people. People saw this ad on average 10 times. I spent $104.96, and I spent basically 48 cents per click on average. Here's my ad. I basically just took a screenshot of the sales page, and so it's actually a screenshot of Mike Filsaime speaking into the camera. It's got this exclusive limited time exclusive limited time special offer at the top. It's kind of got this red little, well, it's got yellow and then it's got this red little banner. That was actually, I didn't add that. That was actually on the page. I just noticed when I did this, I had this download thing. I didn't even know that when I took the screenshot. So I made a mistake on this ad, and it was still incredibly lucrative. It would have been nice if I didn't have that download thing. That was a glitch on my end. But that was actually in the ad. That wasn't from the screenshot I took for you guys now. That was actually in the ad. So I goofed up on this ad, and it was profitable. So Mike and Andy's Webinar Jam, exclusive limited time special offer, one payment of $297. Never pay again for life. So people knew they had to spend money. They knew it was a special deal. It was a limited time offer. And so people were willing to invest on that. So the targeting, I did bid for impressions, so I did a max bid of 13 cents per 1,000 impressions. I had 177 clicks, it looks like. Targeted 220,000 people living in Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, United States, who like Mike Filsaime or Andy Jenkins, 35 and up, on right column on desktop computers only. So, for instance, if we would have done that audience intersect tool and did people who like Mike Filsaime and Andy Jenkins, maybe it would have been 40,000 people, for instance, who like both of them that live in those countries at that age range, and I probably would have made more money and spent less for the traffic I was delivering. So here's a screenshot of the sales I made for that ad. So we had multiple $100 plus commissions that we got. So the profits, I spent $104.96. I earned $435.09 for a profit of $330.13 from a simple ad that ran for a couple days. Here's a retargeting example. So I've used retargeting. You can use this to get people to sign up for your website, sign up on your email list, to buy a product if they haven't purchased it. You can promote affiliate products. If you got a blog post or you got some content you want to share, you can share it with your best customers. I mean, retargeting is just a fantastic example. I promoted CPA Monopoly just with a Facebook ad, and I had that go to existing customers of mine. So here's my targeting. I did a bid for reach, so I was basically paying each time my ad was served. I targeted a couple different customers and visitors to a couple different websites of mine. I focused on age 18 and up. I had this show up in the news feed, on third-party apps, on the right column, pretty much went everywhere. We targeted 11,000 people on it. I had a max budget of $100 a day. And here's the ad. I just took, this is the fastest CPA system online, and it's easy to implement. I believe that was a bullet point on their sales page, and I just put the product name here. So this is Dan and this is Yair, and basically I just saved a picture of the two of them that was on the page, and I uploaded it to Facebook. And the funny thing here is it cut off the sides of their face. So here's an ad that kind of looks a little bit funky, but it made sales. I mean, we got clicks, we got people to buy. It did quite well. So here's the stats. We almost had 7,000 people see it. They saw it an average of 7 times, 0.396 click-through rate, we spent $51, or a little over $1 per thousand impressions here. And the revenue, I made $172.96. This was maybe running for a few days or a week or so from that. So that was pretty cool. I spent $51.13 and I brought in $172.96 in affiliate commissions promoting CPA Monopoly. That gave me $121.83 in profit. All I did was copy and paste. I already had the existing targeting, so I already had the retargeting. But this is an ad that maybe took me 5-10 minutes to set up, and I made $121.83 profit. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made on Facebook. Your results will definitely vary, but it's really cool what you can do with Facebook advertising. I feel that these ads work really well. They're incredibly low risk and high profit when you're doing the retargeting, and it's definitely something that you should be implementing. It's something that's added a lot of money to my business since I've been doing it. I use retargeting also to get people, like if I have a product launching, I use retargeting to get people on board. So I'll do retargeting to my existing customers or to people who've said that they're interested in other products of mine, and I share ads with them to get on like an early bird list. That'll get me a lot of sales right away. I also do retargeting to get joint venture partners. So oftentimes I'll have what's called a JV invite page, and a JV invite basically is inviting affiliates and other people who will promote my product and get them on board. And so I'll have like a video that talks about what the product is and break down the prizes and how much commissions they'll make and all sorts of stuff like that, and I get them on board that way for my product. Now I put the retargeting pixel on there, and I can retarget to my existing joint venture partners and get a lot more people on board doing that. So here's a list building example. I specifically chose a product that was just a PLR product that anyone could have done this with. I just bought the rights to it, and it had some sales letters, and I included those as well to make sales from. So everything, I just had to make a couple minor tweaks to the product so I could capture the email leads on my own system and edit the payment button to get sales for myself. But other than that, I didn't make any changes, didn't tweak the product, didn't do anything else, didn't add anything to the product, nothing. So I had 837 people sign up to my email list. We had a reach, my ad was shown to 255,000 people. People saw it almost 22 times. I spent $860, and I spent $1.03 per conversion with this example. So that's pretty cheap. So here's a specific ad here. We did a right column ad, had 11 conversions, 27 cents per conversion. People saw it on average 11 times. It was shown 1,800 times. 0.048% click-through rate. I spent $2.99 to get 11 new people on my list. So I spent an average of 30 cents per click, I believe. And so this targeted 5,400 people living in Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, United States, who liked Stephen Pierce, who's an internet marketer, age 35 and up, on the right column. So notice a lot of my ads have been right column. They've been incredibly successful, high return on investment. Here's basically what the ad looked like. 11 WordPress plugins every marketer must have. Download your free copy now. I'm 99% sure that's just the headline of the page, and I just copied and pasted that in there. I had a picture of me. You've probably seen this before, where I just put a red border around it and uploaded that as a picture, so it definitely interested people in clicking on it, people that already knew me. Now, my initial revenue, we brought in $94 here and $378 there. There were two upsells that were included in the package. So the first upsell basically was, hey, would you like to have your own copy of this website? And you can get your own copy for $27. And then the next upsell was, hey, congratulations on purchasing the website. Would you like to have 14 emails that you can use in your autoresponder to promote various internet marketing products? So emails that were already pre-written that people could make revenue from. So that gave me an initial revenue right off people signing up to my list. They come from the Facebook ad, they sign up to my list, and then I brought in $472, just immediate, like instant revenue. So with that, now keep in mind, I spent $860. I brought a very targeted email list of 837 people who like specific competitors of mine. So my one-time offer revenue was $472. Now that may seem bad offhand because it's an initial loss of $388.28. However, I was able to quickly recover that money by just doing a couple email promotions. I sent out a handful of emails, and in less than 30 days, I was profitable, and I had this asset, this email list that was making money for me, every day. And so these subscribers to this campaign, I did this campaign I think 2 years ago. I still have subscribers from this campaign that are still buying stuff on a daily basis, and I just promote various WordPress offers to them. So on the first day results, I made back around 55% of my initial investment immediately. Now think of it this way: people that start like a franchise, like say at McDonald's, they've got over $1 million invested, and it takes them, I don't know how long it takes, but I assume it's going to take many of them several years, maybe 3, 5, 10 years before they start making a profit with all the expenses and overhead that they have owning a franchise. However, I was able to recoup over half of my investment right off the bat, and then the rest I was getting with just a couple emails that were basically copy and paste and send. It doesn't get any easier than this. This is a lifelong asset. These are subscribers that will buy stuff for life from me, and they've bought different products of mine. They've bought different affiliate products I've recommended. Some of them have gotten onto like coaching programs of mine. There's a lot of potential here. This is really untapped because most people don't do this. They don't take the time to build an email list off Facebook. This is some of the most targeted traffic you're ever going to get. I've never seen targeting like Facebook allows you to do. It's really easy to do if you use the targeting examples that I've given earlier in this call, and you use that audience intersect tool. I mean, you really have a distinct advantage over other people. Be sure to do the retargeting too. That's a really useful thing. But with an email list, you can sell to them over and over and over again. It's so much better than just promoting a straight off affiliate product or promoting your own offer for sale. Get that email list. If you don't have an email list, you're not really in business. You're really fumbling along with this internet marketing thing. I started internet marketing in '99. I didn't start building an email list till 2006. So I wasted 7 years going, oh, I can do it myself. I can do it my own way. Blah, blah, blah. I don't need an email list. And then I saw the kind of money people were making with email lists and how predictable it is and how much of a steady stream of income an email list can do. And I was like, well, maybe I should try that. I swallowed my pride and I started building an email list. And it was a lot harder back then than it is now. There's so many people with email lists now. It's so much easier to do. There's so many different places to advertise. There's so many different potential partners that you can have. There's just so much more growth. There's so many more people that are interested in internet marketing. I mean, you can do this in any niche market, but there's so many. The internet is so much bigger than it was in 2006 or in '99 than it is like it is now. It's just crazy how big it is now. So build that email list. If you take anything out of this call, sign up for an autoresponder. Get on an autoresponder tonight and start building an email list. That is what's going to change your business. Is what's going to change your life. That is really the main takeaway that you have to get from this. You can take away my JV partners. You can take away my products I've had. You can take away various advertising accounts of mine. You can take everything away. But if you give me an email list, I will make money. That is the one thing. That's the one thing I want. Just give me the ability to have an email list or to grow an email list, and I'll make money. That's the only reason. For instance, you're on this webinar. The only way you're on this webinar is because you're on an email list. You got an email list reminder. You signed up for my product because you're on someone's email list. When you purchased my product, you got on an email list. You got reminded about this webinar. You got told about this webinar. Email marketing works. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I love social media. I love Facebook. But if you want to make a lot of sales, you got to build an email list. So that's my rant. Build an email list. So conclusion, you saw that you can make a lot of money promoting affiliate offers. You learned a lot about audiences and a free tool called AudienceIntersect.com. You learned how to do targeting and how you get to know your audience. You learned how to make ads that interest your audience using bullet points from sales copy, using the headlines, using the subject lines, using audience intersect again, using attention grabbing images, so images that have like a red border or arrows, or you're looking like the person's looking at the camera. You learned about retargeting, but the most important thing you learned is you got to build an email list. You can promote so much more stuff to an email list. You can build a deep relationship. I mean, really, Facebook is a social platform. People don't go on Facebook looking to buy something. It's not like they're going on Amazon or eBay and they're looking to buy something specific. People go on Facebook because they want to look at cat videos and dog pictures and pictures of people's babies and stuff like that. Yeah, the advertising works, but that's not what people are there for. They're not clicking on ads hoping to buy something. They're willing to click on an ad and sign up for an email list, and you can sell them a lot of things that way, but you really should be building an email list, because that's what a lot of people won't do. And if you do that, you're going to have a much greater time of having results and having success with your Facebook ads. So I'm going to open up the line for questions. Once again, dial 949-229-4400, and the PIN is 35097. Also tomorrow, Sean Casey and I, we're going to do a live webinar, and it's going to be Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. He's got a software program that grabs buyer leads and it'll generate traffic for you and money on demand. So if you want to sign up for that, it's www.readflorene.com/live webinar. He's going to do a live demonstration. It's pretty cool. I've seen Sean do a live presentation of this before. It's pretty awesome. So I hope to see you on that. With that, I'm going to open up the line. Well, actually, I'm going to go through some of these chat questions first, because we got a ton of them. Okay, so what did this ad look like? I don't know which ad you're referring to. Larry, if you point out which ad you're referring to, that would help me figure out which ad you're talking about. Looks like a few of you had some sound issues. Everything should be recorded. Can you guys hear me now? That would probably be a good thing. If you can just post in the chat box that you can hear me now, that'd be great. I don't know what went wrong. If you have... Okay, good. I guess audio's there. We must have had a dead spot there for a second or two. Not sure what happened. Yeah, I'll be setting a replay for everything. I've got everything recording right now. I've got multiple things recording this, so hopefully everything turned out fine. Okay, Marco asks, could you give me again this web page? Marco, if you can post what the web page was about, I could possibly get that for you. I'm not sure which web page. Maybe it's the Audience Intersect tool that you're talking about. It's AudienceIntersect.com. Okay, Ivan talks about, could you talk about list nurturing after Facebook ad or solo ad? You mentioned in the previous webinar about asking them for what's your #1 challenge when it comes to online marketing. I've done that, but response rate is low. Have I missed out on anything? You can give them free gifts. You can do videos. You can do interviews. You can do bonuses to get people to buy products. Just kind of look at what other marketers are doing. Webinars like this obviously get a lot of impact. I mean, you're here. We've been on the phone for what? How long have we been on? About 50 minutes or so. So you know that you could have easily spent time watching a TV program or reading a book or being at a sporting event or something. Because you were on an email list and you signed up for a product of mine, you decided to join this webinar, and so that definitely sets you apart. Um, you know, it sets me apart by actually doing the webinar. This is a really easy thing to do. No one should be afraid to do webinars. You can't see me. You can't. I can't see you. I'm talking to my computer. I mean, most people, if they saw me doing this, they'd probably think I was a lunatic. I basically have a headset on and I got my Bluetooth plugged in, and I'm just talking to myself. So it's really easy to do. I think it's something that can really stand out. If you're comfortable in front of a camera, I'm usually pretty comfortable in front of a camera. I recommend Google Hangouts and doing YouTube videos. Those can work quite well. You can do videos even with your webcam or with your cell phone nowadays. They turn out great for this kind of stuff. There's really a low barrier of entry. Just make sure you ask questions, respond to emails that you get from people, help people out as much as possible. Things will get better. I mean, it's a lot like email marketing. Really, well, marketing in general, anything sales related. If people understand that you care and that you care about their success and you care about them implementing the training that you're giving them, and you care about what's happening in their life, they're going to take care of you. This is a business where if you take care of your customers, you make sure they're happy, you bend over backwards to give them the right tools that they need, and you teach them and you train them and you help them out, they're going to reward you. It's all about helping other people get what they want, and you're going to get what you want in return. So ask them questions, give them bonuses, give them training, do interviews, encourage people to buy through your link by offering special deals, or I did an email the other day where I gave a discount on something, so people got it's like a $5 or $7 product and they got $2 off from me by entering in a special code. I did this webinar tonight. I'm doing another webinar tomorrow night on a different topic where we're doing a live software demonstration. So I mean, I'm doing different things that build a relationship with you and get you to know, like, and trust me. Other email lists of mine, I've had different videos go out. I've had different like mind maps and presentation type things go out as just things to build a relationship with people. Just kind of give information to others and share with them that you actually know something. And anyone who's on this call knows a ton about internet marketing. You could definitely teach internet marketing concepts to other people, because anyone on this call, without a doubt, knows more about Facebook advertising alone than 99% of the world's population. I mean, you maybe you haven't done an ad campaign yet, but just looking at my campaigns and tools I use and things like that, you've learned a ton about Facebook advertising. So you could even digest Facebook and share some stuff that you've learned, some pitfalls I've had and some successes I've had, and that could be something that you either give away or you sell. There's just so much that you can do. You know way more than you probably think you do. Everyone on this call is an expert, and you're probably an expert on more than one thing. So just pick that niche that you're passionate about, create information, get people to get on an email list, build a relationship with the things I recommended, doing the phone calls and the webinars and videos, and give content away, do bonuses, things like that. That's going to make you stand out, and that's going to help you make a lot of money online. Okay, let's see. Ken asks, what happens when someone clicks your ad? Is the customer taken to a splash page, a website, the affiliate link? We went through like 4 different ad campaigns. 3 of those, they went straight to the website through my affiliate link. 1 of them went to a squeeze page first, and so I got people's email address first. So I recommend that you do the send them to a squeeze page is what I'd recommend, because that way you build an email list and you can still promote affiliate offers that way. Mike says, you mentioned fastest way to build a list, find a niche, offer something. So an ebook, report, use Facebook advertising to target your exact clients using the search. Yes, that's what I would do. So I would figure out what your niche was, figure out what you want to give away, and then I would look for competitors in your niche market and do ads targeted to people like your competitors. Donnie says, I'm still confused about cost per click and cost per thousand. Well, really, I haven't found like a hard set rule for when you should use cost per click or cost per thousand. Um, Cost per click, you're usually going to spend more. So I like to do that for larger audiences, things where I've got maybe 100,000 or more people on. Cost per thousand, I usually do for retargeting or to existing customers of mine, people who like my fan page, or people who are on an email list of mine, or people who've been to like a website of mine before. So if I'm doing retargeting, I usually do cost per thousand. And smaller audiences, as people that know, like, and trust me already, I can usually get clicks for a few pennies that way, if it has my picture on there. All right. Could you review what your email opt-in bait was for the prospect? So basically, that was just some WordPress plugins. So they went to a site to download, it was like 10 or 11 different WordPress plugins. It was a report that had a link to a bunch of different WordPress plugins that people could download. James asks, how big is my list these days, or how big should we try for? At my peak, I've had lists of over 200 some thousand. So I've had different lists that are hundreds of thousands of people on them. I primarily have kind of shifted gears, and I'm just focusing on core different customer segments. So it really depends on what niche and what specific item I'm selling. So I've got a lot of different customer segments that have, you know, hundreds or thousands of people in them, but they're for specific products, and I promote specific items to them. And so that's where a lot of my lists are right now. Forrest asks, would you recommend Facebook advertising over solo ads? That's hard to say. I mean, solo ads you can do a lot with. They're usually pretty cheap. There's a lot of scammy people out there. I think you've purchased my solo ad course as well, Forrest. So I'll just share this with anyone on the call. Look for, if you do solo ads, ask people if they can just do a solo ad to their customer list. You're going to pay more. So like a freebie seeker list, you might be paying 30 or 50 cents per click. A customer list, you might be paying maybe $1 or $2 per click, but you're going to get better leads that way. And I would still give them something away for free to get them on your email list. I would still do the retargeting. You're going to have much more success. It'd be better for you to spend maybe 50 or $100 on a solo ad that just went to customers versus spending, you know, hundreds or maybe $500 on a thing that went to everybody on their list. Force asked, do you cloak your links? Usually I don't bother with it. So I'm not really going to tell you which solo ad vendors. Whenever I've done that, that's when everyone else buys, and it makes it hard for me. What I'd recommend is go to my blog, soloaddirectory.com, and just do a search for recommend or recommended on the blog section there, and you can usually find people that I've had a really good result with. And then I would just ask them the questions that I gave you in the product, in the solo ad product that I had a few weeks back, and I would specifically ask them if they have a customer list they can mail to, because that's going to be a better use of your funds. Nancy asks, how would you target local business owners? Well, first off, with Facebook, you can target people who live in a certain region. So you can do people who live in your town or in neighboring towns, like a 10-mile radius if you want. And then you can also do targeting based off of people that have a certain degree, or they do different profession type things. So if you looked in the it's in the demographics section on the Facebook campaign. So you can set like the age and sex and stuff like that, but with that you can target what school they went to or what major they had. You can target where they live. You should be able to target things like, if they're a realtor or plumber or dentist and things like that in there as well. I know I've done some campaigns that way. So look in the demographics section for that. You can do some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so you should be able to find accountants and chiropractors. Another thing you might want to do with that is try LinkedIn ads, because you can get very specific there too. Thomas asks, will this be recorded? Yes, I have multiple things recording this. I don't do the cloaking for that. How do you target people looking for work, job seekers? Boy, I don't know. I might just advertise on job-seeking websites, to be honest. There would probably be easiest. Looking for people, advertising on Craigslist and Monster.com and Indeed and Find Jobs and stuff like that is probably what I'd do. I don't know if there's a specifically easy way to do that with Facebook. Yeah, custom audiences with email addresses are great. So if you want to target one specific person, you could hunt them with an ad. Yeah, I suppose you could just have an audience of one. I suppose I've never really done that, but yeah, it'd be kind of creepy. But you could do that. I'm gonna open up the line here because I've seen a couple of people that want to hop on the line. So I'm gonna put speakerphone on. Take out my Bluetooth. And I'm going to unmute here. So, hi, we should be unmuted now. Yes, I can hear you. Boy, we're having a really bad echo here. You said is there a format for what? So for a custom audience, I'm gonna mute us here. So for a custom audience, you can just upload the email addresses. You can do phone numbers if you want. I primarily do email addresses. You can still have them, basically you just upload like a spreadsheet of email addresses. You can still do all your advanced targeting that you want. You don't have to do anything specific with that custom audience. You don't have to narrow it down to this is just the women and these are just the men if you want. Facebook will do all the advanced targeting for you if you want your ad campaign. So I would just upload the whole list of emails. So if you have people who bought a specific product or people who've signed up for a specific list, make that a specific custom audience. So let's say you have an autoresponder and you have maybe 10,000 people, but you've got different segments, and maybe you've got 1,000 people that are in one segment, and you got 500 people in another segment, and you got a couple thousand people in another segment. You could do different segments for different products or different niche markets that you're in, and those could be different custom audiences. Or if you want to be lazy about it and they're all pretty closely related, let's say they're all internet marketing lists, you could just upload the whole email list and do your ad that way. So what format? I guess I'm not quite sure. Basically, it's just the email address itself. So you'd have like a spreadsheet of emails. So if you were logged into your autoresponder, you would just export the list of your email list, and you would just import that file. So it would be like a CSV file or a text file, and it would just have those emails on a different line. So Aweber will give you a spreadsheet. I think it's a CSV file. You you log into Aweber and you go, it's like manage lists, as there's like a backup area, and so you can do this backup button. It'll just give you a spreadsheet for all your different lists with all your different subscribers, and it'll give you all that data that you can send right to Facebook, and Facebook will just import all that directly. Your response is the same way. They'll let you export everything. Pretty much all the big autoresponders will let you export everything just as a file. I'm going to try opening up the line again quick to see if I'm not quite sure what happened. All right. And we still have a pretty long delay there. I'm going to mute us again. So I have the line muted there. We definitely have some audio interference with something. Probably someone has their speakers on or something, and their mic running as well. So I guess if you guys have any questions, we'll just do them on the chat here. I'll leave it open for a couple more minutes. If we don't have any more questions, we'll just end the call. But if you have a question, type it in the chat area, either the Q&A or the chat box. I'll leave it up for another minute or so. If we don't have anything, we'll just close out the call. Okay, James asked if I've had any luck with polls on Facebook pages. I haven't really done them. So I don't really do a whole lot for growing my Facebook fan page. Pretty much any people that like my fan page, I've got like 3,500 people that are Facebook fans. They've pretty much just come from other ads of mine, and people have clicked on my ads and go, oh, I like these ads, I want to like this page, or people that have just searched for my name and clicked like. I haven't really tried to grow my fan page following, and I haven't really tried to do any polls, so I don't really have any information on that for you. Thomas asked, do you have a weekly call? No, I don't. Basically, this was part of a $997 coaching program, so that's why there's reference to a previous week's call and a next week's call, because this was actually part of a module from a high-end training program about internet marketing, and I just decided to release it at a low price to a bunch of customers and subscribers of mine, and some affiliates promoted it, and it did quite well. We got product of the day, and we had like 1,600 people or so buy. So it definitely had a mind of its own and kind of took over there for a while. It was a #1 bestseller again. So basically, this is just bonus training for you guys, just to give back. So this is just a one-off call for customers of this product. Oh, thank you, Ken. Yeah, this isn't a pitch fest at all. This is just a bonus call. Okay, Thomas sells websites. Any ideas where to target? Possibly people who like Flippa would be one to start with. Yeah, I would try Flippa, and maybe people who like, pages liked by people who like Flippa. You might find some competitors to Flippa that way. Okay, I'm going to unmute the call here. I believe if you press *6, I think that's the mute key on this platform. If you press *6, that'll mute your line if you don't want to speak. So I'm going to unlock the line. unmute it here and just see. So press *6 if you haven't already, and that will mute you if you've got anything going on in the background. Okay, we should be unmuted. I'm just going to see if there's anyone who has any last questions for audio. I don't hear anyone. Thomas asked, do I offer coaching? Right now I don't have a new coaching program going on. If you want something like that, just let me know what you're looking for. I'm thinking about offering coaching again because I get asked on a daily basis by people that want me to start doing coaching again. So I guess if that's something you're looking for, feel free to shoot me an email or call my phone or something and let me know what you're looking for, and I might plan something out, and we'll do some sort of group coaching program for people. But right now I don't have anything planned. Alright, I'm not hearing any more questions. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I just want to thank everyone for attending the call. Thanks for participating. Thanks for buying this product. Also, tomorrow night, Sean Casey and I have a live webinar. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about a new software program he has that grabs buyer leads and will generate traffic and money on demand. It's www.readfloren.com/live webinar to sign up for that. I'm just going to send that link to everyone here so you have that. I hope to see you there. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's a really cool software program, so I hope to see you. And with that, I wish you the best of success, and thanks for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and take care.